This is Atlantic Television Network Global News at 9 p.m. First, the headlines. 5 persons missing in helicopter crash, says NNPC. APC criticizes Bianca's ministerial nomination. SANU, NASU begin indefinite strike on Monday. Debt servicing hinders development, says the IMF. Israel marks anniversary in Hamas. Madugu elated with Super Falcons victory. Fan berates Fino.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
A warm welcome back. Now to the news in details. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says only 3 individuals have been found following Thursday's helicopter crash. This contradicts reports suggesting that 2 additional bodies were discovered on Friday, in addition to the 3 recovered on the day of the incident. A statement on Sunday, the NNPC's Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Olufemi Soneye, clarified that no further bodies had been found, while the search and rescue operations are still ongoing. The statement also said that the pilot was identified as one Captain Yakubu Dukas, while the identity of the 8th person on board could not be confirmed. Bayelsa State Governor Duye Diri has approved 80,000 naira as the new minimum wage for state civil service. This development is effective from the 1st of November 2024, and they also approved an increase in the monthly pension for retirees, as well as a payment of 7.5 billion naira for gratuities to reduce outstanding liabilities. The Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Daniel Alabra, who disclosed this in a statement in Yenagoa, acknowledged the challenging times workers face in the state due to the rising cost of living, and also approved an increase in the monthly pension for state retirees. The statement concluded that Diri expressed appreciation for the understanding, patience and commitment civil service and servants have shown towards his administration's policies and programs. Move on to a different story now in Delta State, where the police command has arrested a former councillor who represented Emu Uno in Kwale local government area in Dubisi Okechukwu for alleged involvement in kidnapping. Suspected kidnapper was arrested on October 21, 2024, while the Delta State Police Public Relations Officer SP Bright Edafe confirmed the development on a statement on Sunday. He said the DPO Abbey Division, CSP Florence Onum, received credible intelligence that there has been a plan to kidnap a prominent member of the Abbey community. Acting as intelligence, the DPO of Kwale and operatives of the division embarked on a discreet investigation, and one Honorable Ndubisi Okechukwu, a two-time councillor in Umo Eno, Kwale, was arrested. According to the police image maker, the suspect said he was suspended from being a councillor and he wanted to kidnap and said the woman so that the local government would pay the ransom, since he knew the woman was close to the local government chairman. Mother of a 15-year-old girl, Eunice Osule, has been arrested by the police for alleged sex trafficking of her 15-year-old daughter. Aswile was alleged to have forced her daughter Esther to a suspected sex trafficker at a hotel in Udu local government area in Delta State. A human rights activist, Igorovune Agogo, said Esther escaped from the suspected sex trafficker and sought refuge with her classmate's family in a farm. The spokesperson of the command, Bright Edafe, confirmed the woman's detention, adding that the command will investigate all persons involved in the case. Elders and residents of the Ugigbe community in Ovia local government area of Edo State have hired traditionalists to invoke curses on those responsible for the burglary of a police station located in the community. This is coming after the traditionalists hired by the elders and residents invoked curses on the perpetrators of the police station, which was built through communal efforts and yet to be commissioned for use and was vandalized by unknown vandals. The priests have performed rites, invoked curses, and also asked ancestors to punish the perpetrators, while vandals stole furniture, electric cables, and fittings, among others, in the building. Speaking on the incident, Pa Sunday Ihoya, one of the elders of the community, condemned the act of vandalizing the police station, adding that the police station was meant to tackle insecurity in the locality. Police is on a manhunt for gunmen suspected to be kidnappers who killed a drummer identified as Ikamate HC Akumele in Isholo community of Edo State. The Osholo community, located in Uwano Kingdom in Etsako East local government area of the state, while the public relations officer of Edo State, SP Moses Yamu, said the command received the report of the incident on Saturday and has a meeting with community leaders on the unfortunate incident, while tactical teams have been deployed to comb the crime scene and its surroundings for possible arrest of the suspects. The command will appreciate any information from members of the public that could help the police in fishing out the perpetrators. This is coming after the police station was recently attacked and razed by irate youths over alleged kidnapping and killing of a young man identified as Junior. Still in Edo State, Governor-elect Sunday, Senator Monday Okpeholo, has dismissed rumors that he intends to secure a $45 million loan from a Chinese agency to fund the construction of 3 flyovers in Benin City, following Governor Godwin Obaseki's handover. The rebuttal was articulated in a statement in Abuja on Sunday by Okpebolo's media aide, Gospower Inegbe. In a statement, Okpebolo alleged that those spreading the rumors were affiliates of the outgoing administration and has no official capacity to procure loans on behalf of the state government. Reacting to the allegations, the Edo Commissioner for Information, Chris Nehi-Kare, denounced the speculation, stating that those peddling it are not from Obaseki's camp. The APC in Anambra State has strongly criticized President Bola Tinubu's nomination of Ambassador Bianca Ojukwu as minister. This is coming after the Tinubu-led government had on Wednesday announced the nomination of the widow of Biafra warlord Chukwemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu as minister-designate for the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, but APC stakeholder in Anambra described it as anti-party stressing that Bianca is known to be a member of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. Chief Bunti Onuigbo, representing stakeholders in Anambra, was also one of those who criticized the appointment, while Dr. Joseph Ono, Bianca's brother and former spokesperson to Tinubu's campaign council, condemned Anambra APC for voicing their rejection of the nomination. In a strongly worded statement released by the Zonal Publicity Secretary of APC Central APC and coordinator of the Anambra APC Renewal Group, Igboeli Arinze Napoleon, he criticized both the ministerial appointments and recent allegations made by Dr. Joseph Ono, adding that the controversy reflects deeper visions within the party as it grapples with internal restructuring and positioning for future electoral contests. He also tackled Joseph Ono, who accused Anambra APC for turning in an abysmal 5,000 votes for President Tinubu in 2023, and whether the rejection was because Bianca was a woman. Napoleon said the Anambra State chapter of the party had always supported women for positions, including Sharon Ikezo and Senator Margaret Okadibo, insisting that the party had capable women within its fold instead of bringing one from outside. Anglican priest identified as Ven David Arinze Ajefo, who is the Archdeacon of the Oyi Central Archdeaconry of the Vicar of St. James Parish, Akozo, has been kidnapped by suspected gunmen. Eyewitness said the cleric was allegedly kidnapped by unidentified individuals on Saturday night at the entrance gate of the St. James Parish, Akozo, in Oyi local government area of the Anambra State, and the church has announced prayer sessions for his safe release. When reached for confirmation, the police public relations officer, SP Tochukwu Ikenga, said the police had not received any reports on the incident. In Enugu State, residents trooped out to protest the killing of an Ogene musician, Chikeze Mba, popularly known as Iboja, by a police inspector. Mba was reportedly shot dead by a police inspector, Ozonwaji Joseph, at Police Anti-Cult Tactical Squad headquarters in Enugu State on Friday evening during a visit, while hundreds of residents of the state who were unhappy about Mba's death marched to the Anti-Cult headquarters and attempted to burn it down. It was gathered that the protest turned violent as the police fired tear gas at the youths, while the protesters blocked some roads in parts of the state capital, including Onu Asata, where they set up a bonfire with angry songs. Meanwhile, Governor Peter Mba has ordered an investigation into the killing and took to his social media handle to offer condolences to the deceased family and assured the public that he had directed a full investigation into the matter. However, the Commissioner for Police, Kanayo Uzuegbu, has ordered the Deputy Commissioner for Police in charge of the state CID to conduct a full-scale investigation that would facilitate prompt and appropriate disciplinary actions against the police officer. In the Ebonyi State, government has arrested 26 illegal internally generated revenue collectors and fake agents. The State Commissioner for Transport and Special Projects, Prince Igboke Emeka Collins, who disclosed in Abakaliki on Sunday, said all credits goes to the leader and the people's governor of Ebonyi State, Francis Mifuru, who has really given us the platform to contribute to the development and progress of the state. In a related development, Igboke spoke on the alleged controversy that led to the delay in the assumption of office of the new general manager of Ebonyi State Transport Corporation, Ms. Nnenna Jennifer Igwe, adding that there was no plan by his ministry to delay or sabotage the official handover of the new general manager. Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority says the Blue Line Rail has resumed operations after Saturday's fire incidents. Head Corporate Communication, Kolawole Ojelabi, who made this known on Sunday in Lagos, said fire gutted a section of the Lagos Rail Mass Transit LRMT near the old NEPA station by Echo Bridge around Akpogbon area of Lagos Island. According to Ojelabi, the development disrupted operations on Saturday, and following the spark, the system isolated the section for investigators and engineers from the independent power plants powering the train to trace the source of the fire. Still in Lagos, the State Sector Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps says 2 persons lost their lives in road incidents along the Lagos-Badagry Expressway. The unit's commander, Mr. Williams Manga, who confirmed this on Saturday, said the accident occurred at 7:10 a.m. near the Mami Market Barracks axis of the expressway, adding that 1 other person sustained some injury and the cause of the accident was excessive speeding. He said the injured person had been taken to the General Hospital in Badagry for treatment, while the corpses of the deceased were deposited at the mortuary of the hospital, while the unit's commander urged motorists plying the Lagos-Badagry Expressway to reduce their speed on the 1-lane expressway. He said sensitization programs were organized for motorists plying the Agbara-Badagry Expressway on the need to reduce their speed on the highway. Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetukun, has expressed displeasure over the confrontation between police officers and operatives of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in Osogbo, the Osun State capital. This is coming after an NSCDC officer identified simply as Oweye was reportedly assaulted while on guard duty in estate and subsequently detained by the police. However, the Inspector General, in a statement released by the force spokesperson Muyiwa Adejobi, described the confrontation as unprofessional and directed the Assistant Inspector General of the Police in charge of Zone 11 Osogbo to conduct a discreet investigation into the root cause of the incident. The IGP also said the Nigerian Police Force under his leadership will continually work in collaboration with relevant sister security agencies to ensure a safe and secure environment for Nigeria. FCT Police Command has confirmed that 5 persons have been rescued from the rubble of a collapsed building at Vidas Estate with the Sabonlugbe extension of Abuja. This is coming after it was earlier reported that approximately 40 people were reportedly trapped under the rubble of the collapsed story building in Sabonlugbe in suburban community in Abuja. A statement signed by SP Josephine Ade, the Public Relations Officer of the police for the FCT Police Command on Sunday, said the police had no casualties so far had been recorded, while preliminary investigations revealed that the FCT authorities had previously demolished the building and it was located in an illegally acquired area. Ade, however, explained that scavengers were at the site of the demolished building to retrieve scrap metal, which had led to the compromise of the structure and its resulting secondary collapse. They urged residents to respect the boundaries of demolished structures to avoid any similar occurrence in the future, while the FCT Director for Development Control, Mukhtar Galadima, also issued a statement on Sunday. He said that news of the collapsed building was just propaganda and clarified that the building is within the site currently being demolished as of Thursday. Information gathered that the site recorded an influx of over 500 scavengers, which triggered the remains of the other demolished slab to fall on them. Move on to Kaduna State now, where the police command has arrested 3 suspects of illicit drug trafficking. The command's police public relations officer ASP Mansir Hassan, who confirmed the incident on Sunday in Kaduna, said the suspects were found to be in possession of hard drugs, including 114 Exo 5 tablets, 22 sachets of diazepam tablets, as well as 3 sachets of tramadol tablets, wraps of dry leaves suspected to be Indian hemp, and 1 sharp knife. According to him, after the completion of the investigation, the 3 suspects will be charged to court for prosecution. The police PRO also called on residents of the state to provide timely and useful information for prompt action. A clash between farmers and herders in Kuta community of Wagadi district of Song local government area in Adamawa state has claimed the life of 5 people, while many others have been injured in the clash. Houses were burnt down and many other vulnerable properties valuably destroyed in the clash not previously associated with the district in view. The police public relations officer of the Adamawa State Police Command, Suleiman Ngoroje, who confirmed the incident on Sunday, said the State Commission for Police CP Morris Dankombo had deployed operatives to the scene and the situation had been brought under control. A statement on the crash earlier on Sunday said policemen were deployed to ensure that normalcy returned and the investigation of the circumstances that led to the crash would begin. We now move on to Kano State, where the Independent Electoral Commission has declared the new Nigeria People's Party the winner of a 44 local government election chairmanship and 484 councillorship positions in Saturday's local government election in the state. The chairman, Professor Sani Malufashi, who announced the election results, said 6 political parties participated in the election and the NPP won all 44 local government chairmanships and 484 councillorship positions contested. He expressed profound gratitude to the people of the state for their collective support, prayers, and positive sentiments, adding that the peaceful conduct of the exercise was undoubtedly a manifestation of public acceptance regarding its credibility, fairness, and decency. Kano Independent Electoral Commission has issued certificates of return to the newly elected 44 local government chairmen across the state. The certificates were issued by the Commission's chairman, Professor Sani Malumfashi, on Sunday, and the Commission has the mandate to issue the certificates and urge the newly elected local government chairman and councilorships to discharge their duties effectively. The report also stated that the state governor, Abba Yusuf, would soon swear in the chairman of the government house in Kano State, while the State Electoral Commission had declared the new Nigerian People's Party the winner of all 44 chairmanship positions and 484 councillorship positions in the local government elections. This comes despite a federal court judgment sacking the commission's chairman for being a card-carrying member of a political party. Speaker of the Borno State House of Assembly, Abdul Karim Lawan, has claimed that the lives of Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima is at risk to the 40 presidential aircraft he travels with. This is coming after Shettima cancels his trip to the Commonwealth Summit in Samoa following an incident at an airport in New York, United States. The presidency confirmed that a foreign object hit his plane during a stopover at JFK Airport in New York, and some parts of the aircraft, including the windscreen of the cockpit, were damaged in the incident. A statement issued by Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, on Sunday, Lawan asked the Nigerian government to purchase a new jet for Shettima, adding that the life of the president, of the vice president, and that of the crew members and officials stand at risk while using the old and faulty presidential aircraft. Don't forget that you're watching the global news on Atlantic Television. We'll be back after this short break. Stay with us.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water, and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats, and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women, and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors, and citizens across the nation. Step in now. before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809 233 3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
A warm welcome back to the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated President Long Chong of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam on his historic election to the esteemed leadership position by the parliament. Quang, who is 67 years old, has served in the Vietnamese army for over 40 years and has been a Politburo member since 2021. Tinubu, who spoke through his media aide, Bayo Onanuga, said he welcomes President Quang's post-election promise to promote Vietnam as a friend, a trusted partner, an active and responsible member of the international community, and also reaffirmed that the enduring warmth and friendliness of the relations between Nigeria and Vietnam, as evidenced by the steady growth in trade and cultural exchange, are rooted in a shared commitment to fostering a more peaceful world. The Nigerian president assured the Vietnamese leader of Nigeria's commitment to improving bilateral relations across various sectors, including trade, agriculture, food production, education, and cultural and technological exchange, adding that he hopes for President Quang's successful leadership in serving his people and humanity. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has assured of Nigeria's commitment to regulating wildlife trade, conserving migratory species, and protecting ecosystems. Abbas gave the assurance during a public hearing on the Endangered Species Conservation and Protection Bill in the House of Representatives. Honorable Abbas said the country aims to achieve this through the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, the Convention of the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals, and the Convention of Biological Diversity. The Speaker, who was represented by the Deputy Minority Leader, Honorable Ali Issa, said the hearing underscores the collective commitment to safeguarding the rich biodiversity that Nigeria is blessed with and to ensure the future of our precious flora and fauna. He said, Nigeria boasts a remarkable array of wildlife, from the majestic African elephant, Calabar gorilla, and vibrant Nigerian grey parrot, and the magnificent West African manatee, adding that the creatures are not just captivating inhabitants of the forest savannas and waterways, but are integral to the delicate balance of the environment. The Speaker, while observing that the loss of the biodiversity weakens the ecosystem resilience, making it more susceptible to environmental disturbances, said the disruption of the ecological balance can lead to the decline of other species, impacting food security and potentially triggering unforeseen consequences for human health. According to the Speaker, the bill is not merely a legislative exercise, but a critical step towards fulfilling moral obligation to protect the environment and preserve the legacy of these invaluable species for future generations.
The loss of biodiversity weakens our ecosystem resilience, making it more susceptible to environmental disturbances. The disruption of ecological balance can lead to decline of other species, impacting food security and potentially triggering unforeseen consequences for human health. Interestingly, while taking actions to protect our environment, we open up great opportunities for turning our wildlife and environment into economic use. Ecotourism, which relies on healthy ecosystem and vibrant wildlife populations, can be a powerful driver of our economic growth. Our investment in this sector will in turn create jobs, general revenue, and promote sustainable development that will benefit local communities and the country at large. This will help diversify our national economy and ease the pressure on the oil sector.
Chairman of House Committee on Treaties Protocols, Honorable Rabiu Yusuf, on his part said the bill represents a critical step in the collective efforts to safeguard Nigeria's biodiversity, to protect endangered species and ensure the sustainable management of precious natural resources. According to him, it also serves to fulfill Nigeria's international commitments, since the country is blessed with a rich and diverse array of wildlife and ecosystems, which are increasingly under threat.
The stark reality is that we are witnessing an alarming decline in biodiversity, driven by habitat destruction, deforestation, illegal wildlife trade, poaching, and climate change. Our natural resources, once abundant, are now vulnerable to over-exploitation and mismanagement, placing several species on the brink of extinction. As we stand at this critical juncture, the need for a strong legislative framework to conserve and to manage our wildlife has never been more present than now. The bill before you today offers a comprehensive solution to the challenges we face and align our national policies with international best practices. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, taking a look at the bill, you will observe that it is structured to address the following. Number one, wildlife protection. The bill establishes strict legal protection for species listed under the CITES appendix, as well as endangered and migratory species identified under CMS.
The Director of Forestry, Dr. Moses Ama, at a hearing emphasized on the need to conduct an in-depth species inventory for the proper categorization of all species into schedules based on scientific data. He said the bill be stepped down to allow for a comprehensive evidence-based assessment of the nation's wildlife population and conservation status to be conducted by the ministry.
While this public hearing presents an invaluable opportunity to properly situate the bill within our context, with our national context, would respectfully draw the attention of the honourable member to the need to conduct an in-depth species inventory for the proper categorization of all species into schedules based on scientific data. While the passage of the Endangered Species Conservation and Protection Bill presents an important opportunity for enhancing species protection in Nigeria, proceeding with such schedules not backed by field and scientific data would significantly undermine the bill's objective. Consequently, the ministry will endeavor to source funding with the support of the honorable members for species inventory to reflect our national circumstances and also align any amendments of Endangered Species Bill with internationally standards and obligations under conventions that have been earlier stated.
Other stakeholders also urged stiffer penalties for defaulters. House Committee on Public Accounts in the National Assembly has summoned the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Works, Mr. Yakubu Adam Kofamata, to appear within 5 days to answer questions regarding the alleged abandonment of a federal road construction project in Kaduna State. Chairman of the committee, Honorable Bamidele Salam, who disclosed this, said the permanent secretary failed to respond after 2 previous invitations, adding that the invitation was based on non-compliance and with financial regulations, the Procurement Act, and to assess the value for money concerning the project. The road construction contract, which spans 115 kilometers and was awarded to Jam Dynamic Platform Limited on October 5, 2022, was expected to be completed within 12 months. The committee frowned at the attitude of the permanent secretary, whom it said has formed the habit of treating the invitation of the committee with levity, said it will never be business as usual.
On Wednesday, 4th of September, the permanent secretary did not come and did not send in any letter to explain why he wasn't here. On the 11th of October 2024, I instructed that the clerk reissues another letter to the permanent secretary, Minister of Works, through the Honorable Minister. And that letter was received in that office on the 10th of October 2024, which is the one that is asking the permanent secretary to appear today, Thursday, 24th of October, to answer to this very weighty allegation that a contract sum awarded in 2022 for 1.4 billion naira had been fully paid for, but remains unexecuted. Honorable colleagues, as we speak, we have neither received a correspondence from the Federal Ministry of Works, either in writing or verbal or any form, and here we are today in this hallowed chamber waiting for the appearance of the concerned permanent secretary.
Salam emphasized that the committee requires an explanation for the full payments made to Jam Dynamic Limited platform, despite no evidence on project execution. The committee threatened to issue a warrant of arrest if the permanent secretary fails to appear within the 5-day ultimatum. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has filed a contempt lawsuit against the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, for failing to investigate alleged electoral offences in the 2023 general elections. The organization said, despite a court order by Justice Obiora Egotu of the Federal Court in Abuja on 18th of July 2024, INEC has failed and refused to implement the judgment. A statement by SERAP's Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare said no date has been set for the hearing of the contempt suit, while the judge directed the nation's Electoral Commission to pursue cases of bribery against state governors and their deputies, as well as other electoral offences committed during the 2023 general elections, and to seek the appointment of independent counsel to investigate allegations of electoral offences, including bribery, vote buying, conspiracy, and undue influence against state governors and their deputies during the 2023 general elections, amongst others. SERAP said, regarding the notice of consequences of disobedience to the court order, the INEC chairman was informed to take notice that unless he obeys the orders contained in the judgment of 18 July 2024 made by Justice Egoatu of the Federal High Court in Abuja, a copy of which is hereto attached, and will be guilty of contempt of court and liable to be committed to prison. SERAP warned that it was unacceptable for INEC to ignore or fail to abide by court orders, adding that Nigeria was being mocked for its recurring cases of electoral bribery and violence. Delta State High Court in Warri has issued an order restraining the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board from implementing its recent policy requiring a minimum admissible age of 16 years for university admissions in the country, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice filed against the board. JAM, in a statement on October 16, said only candidates who will be 16 years old by August 2025 will be admitted to tertiary institutions. The directive was a follow-up to the new policy that the Ministry of Education introduced, which states the adoption of 18 years as the minimum age for admissions into tertiary institutions, while JAM, however, made an exception for students seeking admission in the 2024-25 session. Dissatisfied with JAMB's directive, John Akpokpo Martins, a former Nigeria Bar Association member of Warri branch, dragged the admissions board to court, and in a ruling delivered, Justice Anthony Akpovi granted all the relief sought by the applicants. The applicants had sought an order of the court restraining the respondents from taking further action on and giving effect to the directives contained in the circular of the first respondents dated the 16th October 2024 and captioned admission of candidates with minimum admissible age of 16 years, assigned by Mohammed A. Babaji to all Nigerian universities pending the hearing and determination of the original motion. Joint Action Committee of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Education and Associated Institutions and Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities will commence an indefinite strike on Sunday night. A statement signed by the National President of SANU, Mohammed Ibrahim, General Secretary NASU, Prince Peters Adeyemi, said the ultimatum is given to the federal government over its withheld salaries that will expire on Sunday midnight, adding that the unions are demanding, amongst others, the payment of 4 months withheld salaries, improved remunerations, earned allowances, and implementation of the 2009 agreement with the government. The federal government had, through the Ministry of Labour and Employment, invoked the no work, no pay policy when the 4 university-based unions embarked on a prolonged strike in 2022, while the union had directed all members of the university and inter-university centers through the country to hold a joint congress in their respective campuses on Monday, 28 October 2024, and proceed on an indefinite, comprehensive and total strike action, and no concession should be given in any guise. Nigeria Meteorological Agency has forecast haziness and sunshine nationwide from Sunday to Tuesday. NIMET's weather outlook released on Sunday predicts moderate dust haze in the northern region on Sunday, within horizontal visibility ranging from 2 kilometers to 5 kilometers. The agencies anticipate localized visibility of 100 meters or less during the forecast period in the north-central region. Sunny skies and patches of clouds are expected in the morning hours and late in the afternoon and evening. Thunderstorms with moderate rain are anticipated over parts of the Federal Capital Territory, Kogi State, Benue State, and Nasarawa States. In the southern region, thunderstorms and moderate rain are expected over parts of Ondo, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River States in the morning hours, and later in the afternoon and evening. Thunderstorms with moderate rain are anticipated over parts of the Federal Capital Territory and other parts. According to NIMET, moderate dust haze with horizontal visibility ranging from 25 kilometers to 5 kilometers in localized visibility of 100 meters or less, anticipated over the northern region on Monday. And sunny skies with patches of clouds in the morning hours in the north-central region. Moving on to the business news. 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has raised concerns about Nigeria's ongoing struggle with an unreliable power supply and frequent national grid collapses. The former vice president also condemned the blackout in the southeast, northwest, and northeast regions of the country, which has persisted for the past 3 weeks, adding that the ministry and departments responsible for addressing the blackout must quickly intervene to restore electricity to the distressed regions. Posting on his X.com handle on Saturday, Atiku said his policy document and covenant with Nigerians contains the most proactive plan for resolving Nigeria's perennial power outages and called for the decentralization of electricity to the states, stressing the need to grant states the power to generate, transmit, and distribute electricity for themselves. He further stressed the necessity for complementary transmission and distribution infrastructure to transport the supplementary energy produced and expressed urgent need to remove the entire electricity value chain from the exclusive lists and grant states the power to generate, transmit and distribute for themselves. He restates his earlier recommendation to encourage private investors to invest in developing multiple greenfield mini-grid transmission systems to be linked to a supergrid in the medium to long term. Ongoing strike by the workers of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has increased the challenges faced by pharmaceutical manufacturers who cannot clear goods at ports. The chairman of the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Group of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Oluwatosin Jolayemi, who disclosed this while highlighting the adverse impact of the strike, said only NAFDAC approval can allow them clear their goods at the ports. This is coming after, on October 7, NAFDAC workers under the Senior Staff Association of Statutory Corporations and Government-Owned Companies began an indefinite strike. The industrial action by the workers is due to unresolved staff welfare issues with key demands, including a call to revise the results of the 2024 promotion exams, with a pass rate currently at 35%, filling vacant director positions, reforming promotion exam processes, recruiting a psychology officer cadre, and settling unpaid salary arrears for staff recruited in 2020. However, Jolayemi stressed that the pharmaceutical manufacturers' challenges had extended beyond the NAFDAC strike, adding that the inability to clear goods at the ports impacted on all manufacturers, not just those in pharmaceuticals, and also poses serious health risk, according to pharmacists and industry stakeholders, and urged the NAFDAC Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, to resolve the strike to prevent further disruption in the healthcare sector. International Monetary Fund says Nigeria allocates the majority of its revenue to debt servicing, leaving limited funds for critical development projects. Speaking during the Fiscal Monitor press briefing at the ongoing IMF, the World Bank annual meetings in Washington, D.C., David Fusseli, Division Chief of the IMF's Fiscal Affairs Department, stressed the need for Nigeria to adopt more effective revenue mobilization strategies to ease the financial burden. Fusseli said Nigeria's debt service to revenue ratio stands at around 60%, significantly constraining the government's ability to invest in social and economic programs, adding that although the debt service to GDP ratio has declined from nearly 100% to 60%, he stressed that the country must further reduce the share of its revenue allocated to debt payments by focusing on broadening its tax base. He called for the implementation of a transparent and efficient tax collection system while urging the government to improve its fiscal operations to generate more income, adding that the country's public debt includes overdrafts from the Central Bank of Nigeria and liabilities from the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria. The IMF also said, alongside revenue growth, the government must implement targeted social safety nets to cushion the effects of inflation and environmental challenges on vulnerable groups. Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission says power distribution companies may begin to bear the cost of equipment used to repair faulty transformers and other transmission infrastructural replacements. It said if the measure is implemented, it will ensure discos are more prudent and careful with the management of electricity infrastructure. And this is coming after the Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Power Generation Companies, Joy Ogaji, said Nigeria recorded 102 cases of grid collapse from 2013 to date. The chairman of the NERC, Sanusi Garba and Ogaji, who spoke at a public hearing on incessant grid collapses organized by the power sector regulator, also investigated reasons for the multiple collapses of the national grid. The NERC chairman said the frequent national grid collapse was not just having an impact on the quality of supply to customers, but also impacting on viability of power generation and distribution companies, adding that the situation could no longer continue, while immediate action would be taken to stabilize the grid and make it more reliable. He also stressed that DISCOs have been asked to state the feeders that are most susceptible to weather issues with a deadline, but nothing has been done about it, while the Transmission Company of Nigeria said it has received a security advisory from the Office of the National Security Advisor to limit its operations in the area affected by vandalization of the Shiroro Mando transmission, adding that the lack of power in the area will not be resolved anytime soon due to insecurity in the area. Central Bank Governor Olayemi Cardoso says Nigeria is considering launching a diaspora bond in the United States as part of its strategy to achieve monthly remittance inflows of $1 billion. The CBN chief, who disclosed this during the sidelines of the ongoing IMF World Bank autumn meetings in Washington, D.C., said, while Nigerians abroad are keen interest in already having doubled the remittances they send home since the current government began implementing sweep reforms last year, under the leadership of the President Bola Tinubu, Nigeria has been addressing significant economic challenges, including a backlog of foreign exchange payments and high fuel subsidy costs, while the remittance inflows rose to $600 million in September, up from $250 million per month earlier this year. And Cardoso is optimistic about reaching the ambitious goal of $1 billion per month. The Finance Minister, Wale Edun, who is also in Washington, D.C., told investors that the $500 million domestic bond was oversubscribed, raising over $900 million with a subscription rate exceeding 180%. Edun said the successful capital raise demonstrates continued investor confidence in Nigeria's stability and growth prospects. You're still watching the news on Atlantic Television Network. Up next, the international tidbits. One person has been reported dead and at least 30 more have been injured after a truck hit a bus stop near an Israeli military base north of Tel Aviv in what authorities are investigating as a suspected terror attack. A medic from Israel's Magen David Adom emergency service said many of the injured were pensioners on a day trip to the nearby museum, adding that the driver of the truck, named as Rami Nator, an Arab Israeli from the town of Kalansawe in central Israel, was shot dead by a civilian at the scene. Emergency services were called to the Glilot Junction on Sunday following reports of the truck ramming, while far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, who is responsible for the police, called for the family of the suspected attacker to be deported from Israel. Israel is currently fighting its enemies on multiple fronts in Gaza and Lebanon, while the attack raises a different question of how to keep people safe from attackers while inside Israel who use vehicles as weapons. Israel on Sunday marked the Hebrew calendar anniversary of the unprecedented Hamas attacks on 7th October last year, which sparked the ongoing war in Gaza. Separate ceremonies have been held at the Mount Herz military cemetery in Jerusalem to honor both the armed forces personnel and civilians killed in the attack, with top officials expected to attend both events, while flags were flown at half-mast on public buildings, including the parliament, marking the time the attack began, which led to the death of 1,206 people in Israel. The attack prompted retaliatory Israel bombardments and ground fighting that have since claimed the lives of 42,924 Palestinians, according to data from the health ministry in Hamas-run Gaza, which the UN considers reliable. And two ceremonies were held on October 7th, one official and another organized by civilian families, to mark the one-year anniversary of the Hamas attack, while the government also designated a day of mourning around the Hebrew calendar anniversary of the attack. At least 765 Israeli soldiers have been killed both in the initial Hamas attacks and in the subsequent conflicts in Gaza and Lebanon. where the military has been engaged in a ground incursion against the Iran-backed Hezbollah movement since late last month. Japan voted on Sunday and elected new Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba and his juggernaut Liberal Democratic Party facing potentially their worst results since 2009, while opinion surveys suggest the conservative LDP and his junior coalition partner risk falling short of the majority, a result that could deal a knockout blow to Ishiba. The 67-year-old former defense minister took office and called a snap election after being narrowly selected last month to lead the LDP, which has governed Japan for almost all of the past 7 decades. But voters in the world's fourth largest economy have been rankled by rising prices and the fallout from the party's slush fund scandal that helped sink previous premier Fumio Kishida. Ishiba has pledged to revitalize depressed rural regions and to address the quiet emergency of Japan's falling population through family-friendly measures, such as flexible working hours, and he's rolled back his position on issues including allowing married couples to take separate surnames. He also named only 2 women ministers in his cabinet. The self-confessed security policy geek has backed the creation of a regional military alliance along lines of NATO to counter China, although he has cautioned it would not happen overnight. Moscow's defense ministry says Russia shot down 51 Ukrainian drones over several regions, including areas near the border, while 18 were intercepted in the Tambov region, about 400 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, and 16 in the area of the border town Belgorod. The remaining drones were shot down in the regions of Oryol, Bryansk, Lipetsk, and Voronezh, while one of the intercepted drones in the Kursk region, where Ukrainian troops have been conducting a ground offensive since August and control several hundred square kilometers of Russian territory. Kyiv claims that the strikes, which often target energy infrastructure, are in response to the Russian bombardments of the Ukrainian territory. We move on to sports, where the Super Falcons head Augustin Madugu has expressed satisfaction with his team's performance in the friendly against Algeria. Madugu's side defeated the Green Ladies 2-0 at the Remo Star Stadium in Ikene on Saturday. Captain Rasheedat Ajibade scored both goals for the 9-time African champions and said she was particularly impressed with the performance of the local-based players. The two countries will clash in another friendly at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena on Ika, Lagos on Tuesday. Ballon d'Or chief Vincent Garcia says Cristiano Ronaldo now abstains from voting. Garcia also seemed to suggest that Ronaldo is among those very upset with award rulings. The Portuguese superstar has won the award 5 times in the past, only second to Lionel Messi, who has 8, and Ronaldo has also not been named the best footballer on the planet since 2017. After Messi's latest win in 2023, Ronaldo liked an Instagram post that claimed Messi has won 3 Ballon d'Ors too many. This year, neither Messi nor Ronaldo have made the 30-man shortlist. This first time that it has happened in 21 years. In entertainment news, singer Chike has alleged that Apple Music Nigeria top songs chart is highly compromised. He specifically mentioned that the top 10 and top 20 charts are heavily rigged and explained that there are some exceptions. Featuring a recent episode of Curiosity Made Me Ask, hosted by content creator Bayu Barbie, Chike stated that he could top Apple Music charts by just asking his team to pay to boost his streams. In a different story, popular Nigerian rapper Chibuzo Azubike Nelson, also known as Fino, has expressed his frustration over the criticism he received for featuring Hush Puppy in his song. Fino came under heavy fire online after featuring convicted felon Hush Puppy on his new album Full Time Job, and Hush Puppy could be heard as sharing motivational quotes on his track titled Nwoke Esike, sparking a flurry of reactions online. The collaboration marks the end of a feud between Phyno and Hushpuppi. This is coming after, in 2017, Phyno and Hushpuppi had a heated exchange online after the rapper advised the internet celebrity to stop flaunting his extravagant lifestyle on social media. But this was after Hushpuppi called Phyno and his colleague, Ice Prince, out on wearing fake wristwatches. Controversial cross-dresser Idris Okuneye, aka Bobrisky, may face fresh criminal charges over claims that he served his jail term in a private apartment and bribed officials of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to drop money laundering charges against him. This is coming after a panel set up to investigate the claims recommended that he should face defamation and criminal charges, and Bobrisky was sentenced to 6 months imprisonment on April 12th for abusing the Naira and was released from prison on August 5th. A few weeks after the release, controversial social critic Martins Otse, aka Very Dark Man, shared a voice note of a conversation purportedly between Bobrisky and another person, where the crossdresser allegedly stated that he bribed EFCC officers with 15 million naira to drop laundering charges against him. He also claimed to have bribed Nigerian officials of the Nigerian Correctional Service to serve his 6-month sentence in a private apartment. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, subsequently constituted an investigation panel chaired by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Magdalena Ajani, on September 30th to probe the claims, and the panel, while presenting its report, said there was no evidence that Bobrisky slept outside the Kirikiri Custodial Center during his 6-month sentence. The panel also asked the Department of State Services to investigate whether, directly or through proxy, he bribed the EFCC or the Correctional Service, and if the allegations of bribery by Bobrisky are substantiated, the panel said he should be charged with corrupt practices. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories that made the headlines. 5 persons missing in helicopter crash, says NNPC. APC criticizes Bianca's ministerial nomination. Sanu Nasu begin indefinite strike on Monday. Debt services hinders development, says IMF. Israel marks anniversary of Hamas. Madugu elected with Super Falcons victory. Fan berates Phyno. I am King David Obasi. Thank you so far for watching. You can follow us on our socials and our media platforms. Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube Atlantic Television Network, Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.